Hi guys, and welcome to today's video. Today I'm going to be trying on some new holiday limited edition Bobbi Brown. I've got a 12 pan eyeshadow palette, and I also picked up, it's the Luxe Cheek and Highlight palette. There were two of these released, and I picked up the one in Rose Glow. I also picked up a couple of those Bobbi Brown Holiday. They're also limited edition. They were the eyeshadow duos. I'm not going to be using them in this video, but I will in a near future video, and those are really lovely. But for today, it is the 12 pan eyeshadow palette and also that cheek and highlight palette as well. Now I've already got my foundation on, the base makeup, and it is a Bobbi Brown foundation. I've also got Bobbi Brown concealer on as well, and I have put on a little bit of bronzer. That's not Bobbi Brown, it is a Guerlain one, but just a tiny amount, because I'll be adding some more when I use that Luxe Cheek palette. So let's get started with this eyeshadow palette. I'm going to be doing 3 looks today. I'll do one on each eye, and then the final look I'll put the same eyeshadow color story that I'm going to use on both eyes. This is the packaging that it comes in. It is called the Bobbi Brown City Glamour eyeshadow palette, and this has 12 shadows in it. This is made in the USA, and this has a mixture of mattes and metallics. So here is the outside packaging. It does feel really lovely. It is a plastic, has that gold pattern on the front, and it is very festive. Inside you've got the usual generous size mirror, and here is the color story. I think this is really beautiful. So I will swatch this on my arm so you can take a look. I also took a photo a couple of hours ago of this palette in natural sunlight. It is the morning here in New Zealand, so I took it in that really lovely morning light. So I'll pop it up here so you can take a look. So I've swatched these shades from left to right and top to bottom, and they have the names of the shades on the back and also the different finishes as well. Now these did swatch really lovely. They usually do with Bobbi Brown. Those of you that have watched my other videos know that I really love Bobbi Brown. It's a brand that I've used for years. I think it's dependable. Their shadows always blend really beautifully, and they give this very soft everyday look, but they do add those metallics in, so you can have it a bit more glam if you want to for the day, or glam it up more for the evenings. So here are the swatches. So this one here is on the top row, and this is a cream. It is a matte. Next is Bronze Beauty, and that's a metallic. Next is the shade Toast, and that is a matte. Next is Pecan, and that is a matte. Smoky Topaz, which is a beautiful color, and that's metallic. And last is a matte, and that is a taupe. Then on the bottom row we have Ginger, which is a matte. Gold Bar, and they say this is a metallic, but this actually swatched more like a topper. Next is Sunrise, and that is a metallic. Then we've got Iced Caramel, and that's also a metallic. Next is a matte, and that is Mauve. And last we have Black Plum, and that one is a metallic. So I am going to do 3 eye looks, one on each eye, and then the third look on both eyes. And I'm going to use every single shade. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to split it into quads. So use this as a quad on one eye, this one as a quad on the other eye, and then for the last look I'm going to use this. This has got the Black Plum, the Mauve, and the Topaz shades. This, out of it all, I think is the most beautiful, but I want to use all the shades just so you can have a look and see what they look like. So let's start off with these 4 shades here, and I'll start off with that cream matte shade, and I'm just going to take a Sonia G brush, and this one is the Blender Pro. Go into this one. Now, I haven't bought a new Bobbi Brown palette for quite a while. From memory, they have a little bit of kick up in the pan. So just got to be a little bit wary of that. And as I put it on, I'll probably dust up I don't know if you can see that, but it has. So they do have that kick up. So you may want to tap the brush either on the palette. I don't tend to do that. I don't think it's very good for your brushes, especially if you've got expensive natural hair ones. What I tend to do is if I think I've picked up too much on my brush, I just tap it on the microfiber cloth in front of me. So this cream shade is really just a base shade really. So next I'm going to take the rephr 14 and go into the other matte shade and just going to deepen up the crease. And just put that through here. I won't take it too far up. These are blending really beautifully. Again, with this matte shade, there is a little bit of kick up in the pan, and that's because the shadows are really soft. But they blend beautifully, no issues with blending whatsoever, really lovely. I'm going to take the Sonia G, the pencil one, and I'm going to stay with the shade, and I'm going to run this shade under my lower lash line. Then I'm going to take the Sonia G, the Blender Pro, and go into the deepest shade here. And I think what I might do, I was thinking about just putting this in the outer corner, but I think what I will do is I'm actually going to tap this all over the lid, because the shade underneath, this is the one that I thought performed more like a topper. So I'm just going to pat the shade in, and then the lightest one down here, I'm just going to tap that over the top using my finger. So this is a metallic shade. It goes on beautifully, and that's a really gorgeous colour. Then I'm just going to use my finger and go into the shade. Like I was saying, even though they say it's metallic, I think it is more like a topper. So just go over the top of that other shade, and they actually look really beautiful together. It just lightens that other shade up a little bit, and that looks really gorgeous. So I'm going to take the rephr 3 and go into the shade again, and I'm going to put this one on my lower lash line as well, just through here, and then wipe down the brush, go into this lightest shade, and just see how this goes on with a brush. Goes on really well with a brush actually. I thought it may not, being a topper, but it does. It goes on really well. Now I just want to take a little bit more colour up through my crease and just above as well, but I don't want to use the metallic shade, this one here. I think that would be too much. So I'm just taking the rephr 14 again and going back into the shade, and I'm just going to build that up a little bit more. So just pack that on my brush and just take it through the crease again and just build that shade up. So these shades are very buildable, and I just think that looks a little bit better now that I've built that up. And then just taking a clean brush and just soften the edges through here. Now I will put eyeliner on once I've done the other eye. I'm not sure whether I'll use eyeliner on the other eye. I probably will. So once I finish this one, eyeliner on both and mascara as well, so you can take a look. So this time I'm going to start with the rephr 14 and the shade here. And this one I'm going to take in the crease. I'm not going to put this one all over the lid. Just put it through the crease. And again, above as well, similar to the other one. Next I'm going to take a BK Beauty brush, go into this darker shade, and I'll do what I normally do, darker shade on the outside, through the crease, and I will take this above as well. Then I've got the rephr 3. Stay with the shade, and this is the one that I'm going to use for my lower lash line. Then we'll take the rephr 28 and I'm going to go into this one. This is the one they called Ice Caramel, and I think this is going to be a really beautiful shade. But I'm just going to pat it through here. With this one, I'm also going to take that just slightly above through here as well. And then finally is this gold shade. So I've wiped down the rephr, and I'm not going to use a lot of the shade. I'm going to run some of that under my lower lash line, and I'll also pop some in the inner corner as well. And that is it for both eyes. Pretty simple. So now off camera, I'll put on some eyeliner, mascara, and then I'll show you the finished look. So eyeliner and mascara is on, and here is the finished look. And these shadows are gorgeous. Bobbi Brown, I always find when I buy their shadows, like I said at the beginning, they are dependable, they blend beautifully, and I think they always have really beautiful color stories. I really like this color, and often I use two shadows. Those of you who have seen my other videos know that I usually do it like this one with the darker on the outer corner. But I do like the shade just all over the lid, the matte through the crease and above, and then just that metallic shining through. So you just get a peek of it every now and then. I think it is really lovely. There was a little bit of fallout, I think, when I tapped that topper shade over, even though they say it's a metallic. I think it's more like a topper shade, maybe a little bit more opaque than your average topper, but certainly not metallic. But I think this is really pretty and really simple looks to do. And once you've got the eyeliner and mascara on, then that's when I think these eye looks really sing, but they look really beautiful. The mattes are gorgeous and they're not patchy in any way, and I used a variety of brushes, natural hair and also synthetic. With both they perform really lovely. So I think both are really gorgeous. So now I'm going to wash this off and then I'll be back. We'll do look number 3 and then also use that cheek palette. So I just started putting one of the shadows on and realized I didn't hit record. So these are the 4 shadows that I'm going to use. I was saying that I might use this one because it acts more as a topper, but I'll just see. I'll probably be just sticking with these 4. Out of all the shades, I think these are the most beautiful. You've got that topaz and the taupes, this deep black plum mauve, gorgeous little color story just here. So I've got a Sonia G brush and I've gone into the shade here. So I'm just going to go back into it and just add a little bit more. And I'm just taking that all over the lid, through the crease, and just take it slightly, just slightly above as well. I'm going to take the Sonia G Pencil 1 and I'm going to stay with the shade because I'm going to run this under my lower lash line. I will go over with a darker shade, but just begin with this one here. This by itself is a really beautiful shade. It's a lot more, I mean, it's not really deep, but it's darker than the other 2 mattes that I began my eye looks with. Going to take that rephr 14, go into the shade here, and I'm going to put this in the outer corner, and I'm also going to put a little bit of this on the lower lash line as well. Stay with the same shade, use the rephr 3, and this is going on the lower lash line. I'm just going to pick up a little bit more. This is a really lovely shade. This is the one they describe as a black plum. It's really beautiful. And then I've got the rephr 13 and this mauve shade here. This is a matte one, and I'm going to put that through here and just up through here as well. This is fairly pigmented, this shade. Then I'm going to take the rephr 28, go into the shade here, and I'm going to put that over the top of that mauve shade. Then back to the rephr 3, into the shade, and run some of this under my lower lash line as well. So just pop some eyeliner on and mascara as well. Now with the other two eye looks, I used a brown eyeliner, and with this one it is a grey eyeliner. So here is the finished look. And this is very bold and smoky and really just all over gorgeous. Now I am going to use that lighter shade, and I'm going to use it in a minute, but I just wanted you to see what this looked like just with those 4 shades. So I'm going back in to the shade here. This is the one that they call Gold Bar, that I think acts more as a topper, and I'm just going to place it through here. So I imagine it's going to lighten it up, not by a lot since it is a topper. I'm just going to tap it over the lid. Just lifts it just slightly. And that is with the shade Gold Bar over the top. I think both are really beautiful. I liked it before I put the topper to lighten it up, but I love it with the topper as well. Really beautiful. And again, these blended really beautifully. So now let's take a look at the Luxe Cheek and Highlight Palette. As I was saying, I got the one in Rose Glow. This is the outside packaging. Again, this one is made, I'll just double check. No, this isn't made in the USA. This one is made in Italy. And they brought out these cheek palettes a little while ago, but they were more matte. These are more radiant, and they do have a really beautiful finish. The packaging is absolutely gorgeous. I think this is really lovely. So here are the 3 shades. So they say this is a highlighter, and this one probably could be used as a bronzer, but they call it a bronzer shade, but they still refer to it as a blush, and this one a blush as well. So I'll swatch these on the back of my hand so you can take a look. These feel really creamy, and they do have a radiance to them. None of these are matte. So here you've got the one that they call the Brilliant Bronze, and they say it's a radiant blush. In the middle is the highlight shade. This is called Afternoon Glow Highlighting Powder. And finally is Aura, and that is the radiant blush. What a gorgeous pink. I think Bobbi Brown do some of the most beautiful pink blushes around. They always look really gorgeous. Now, I'm just going to stick to the cheeks. There may be some people that want to use the shade here that they refer to as the Radiant Bronze all over. I prefer more of a matte bronze, and this is actually quite warm, this shade. So I already have a little bit of bronzer that I put on earlier. But I'm going to go back to the bronzing brush that I normally use, this one and the other one, the Sonia G, the Niji Pro. I'm going to stick with this one. We'll go into the bronze. And I'm just going to go over the cheeks. I'm not sure whether you can see that. This is fairly light, and it, like I was saying, it is warm. It gives a really beautiful radiance, and I think it's lovely on the cheeks, but I don't think I want that all around the perimeter of my face and through here. But for the cheeks, I think it looks really lovely. Now this goes on beautifully. I've spoken about this brush before from Sonia G. This picks up less product, so it might not seem there's a lot to begin with, but with this brush and this formula, it is definitely buildable. So on the cheeks, I think that looks really beautiful. And then I'm going to take the rephr number 24, and we'll go into this beautiful blush. Gosh, this is a gorgeous, gorgeous shade of pink. And just going to pat that on. And again, this has a radiant finish. Just gives that really gorgeous, healthy glow. It's absolutely gorgeous. And then finally the highlight. Just going to put a little bit just on the high points here. The other way that you can use this is to put this on first all over your cheek, and then this blush over the top, and you get more of a lit from within glow, but I just want to show you what the highlight looks like. And Bobbi Brown do beautiful highlights. You have that gorgeous glow. They don't tend to emphasize the texture, and they blend out really beautifully. They also buff really well. And all of those 3 shades on, the bronzer, the blush, and the highlight, what a beautiful trio. I think it looks gorgeous, and I love the finish of these. They're just beautiful. They almost feel, there's a powder, but they almost feel like they have a bit of creaminess to them. Absolutely gorgeous, and they look gorgeous on the cheeks. So here is the final look, and for lipsticks, there are 2 new Dior ones. One is more new to me. It's one of the Forever matte ones, and over the top I put on one of the new Dior Lip Addict Maximizers. Both the shades together, I think, look really gorgeous. I love this look. I think it is really beautiful. I love these eyeshadows. Initially, I thought it was going a little bit dark, so I'm not sure whether I like it either how I first had it before I put the topper on, or with the topper. I think both look really beautiful. But out of all the shades in this eyeshadow palette, these are probably my favorite, and I think get a lot of use out of this one as well. Now, one that I did really like, and it was a surprise for me, was this shade here, and that's the one with this eye, and I just put it over the lid, but I thought that that was just absolutely gorgeous. I do think if I took it through the crease and above, it could emphasize texture. If that doesn't bother you, well, that's not really a big deal. I just get the feeling it might, but just on the lid, pat it on, I thought looked absolutely gorgeous, and such a beautiful fall color too, really beautiful. But these 4 shades here, this black plum, the mauve, and the taupe, and the smoky quartz, are just absolutely gorgeous. We can definitely get a lot of looks from this palette, and like I said throughout the video, they perform really beautifully. With the mattes, there is a bit of kick up, no big deal though. You can either just do a light tap on the palette, or just pop some on the microfiber cloth or something that you have in front of you. But they do blend beautifully. And although this is the first time wearing this palette, it's very similar or the same to other ones that I've used. And I do find the longevity of the Bobbi Brown eyeshadows really good. They wear off evenly when they do start to wear, and often I wear them for at least 8 or 10 hours, and they still look really lovely even after all that time. And like I said, they wear off quite evenly. The Luxe Cheek Palette is absolutely gorgeous. All of the 3 shades together are just beautiful, and I wasn't too sure about picking this up because it said it was all radiant, and I thought, oh, I'm not too sure. But now that I've got them on, I think they are beautiful. And even though this is a Bobbi Brown video and not a Dior video, those 2 lipsticks together look absolutely gorgeous. I think they are beautiful. So that's it for today's video. I would love it if you gave it a like and subscribed, and I will see you next time. Bye.